whilst David brings round the trolley. Thanks, David. Just leave it there. What are you suggesting?
Well, I think we take inspiration from Maria earlier, and a tiramisu Baileys sounds delightful for today.
I think she was using
you can also get some nice non-alcoholic ones as well.
What, a non-alcoholic tiramisu Baileys?
Well, I don't know about the tiramisu ones, but you can get non-alcoholic Baileys as well. So.
I think they were using it as a cough syrup, but I'm not sure that's it. Anyway, today's confession, we're still at sea as we were yesterday. Today's confession comes from Tugboat Bill. Thanks, Tugboat. Oh, Bill, I suppose. Yeah. Simon and your most respected colleagues. As a seafarer, Christmases at home were a rare occurrence. When they did occur, they were to be enjoyed to their fullest. Shopping and wrapping presents, drinking, writing Christmas cards, eating, drinking and meeting friends and family and having a drink. As you'll notice, there's a certain theme that runs through this particular confession. After a particular long trip away of nearly 6 months, I was lucky enough to arrive home in the second week of December, when the Christmas buzz was in full swing. Late enough so as not to be sick to the back teeth of carols and Christmas ads. I love them. Yet early enough to still participate in the present buying and to soak up the general bonhomie. Well, within a couple of days of being at home, I suggested to Mrs. Tugboat that we have an afternoon in town to finish the Christmas shopping and possibly have a meal and a drink.
Oh, yeah.
To this she agreed, as there was still a present she hadn't been able to buy. So we hopped onto the bus and headed eagerly into town. Within a couple of minutes of getting off the bus, we spotted a pub advertising mulled wine, and we felt compelled just to try some. A couple of glasses later, we were back on the street and sensibly decided to start our shopping. And as there was only one present to buy, I didn't think this would take too long. Well, how wrong could I be? It was my brother-in-law's present that was proving to be difficult, but the regime of one shop, one pub made life a little bit easier and allowed me to really savour the atmosphere and fully immerse myself in the spirit of Christmas. Now, please don't get the wrong impression. We weren't just nipping into shops for a couple of minutes and then darting back to the pub. Sometimes we're in a shop for about 10 minutes.
Wow.
And once we were there for up to 15 minutes.
15, imagine.
Wow.
Now, normally I'm a quite conservative sort of chap, but on this afternoon I started talking to most people I met in the pubs, and one of the conversations was about the difficulty in buying this one present. Have you tried the toy shop, was one suggestion. Well, my brother-in-law's 38, I replied. Well, they sell adult toys. Oh, well, not being too sure what adult toys were available on the high street, we decided to have a look. Onto the toy shop, and lo and behold, within a minute of entering the adult section, subsection executive toys, I spotted a Newton's cradle. You know.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Size of relief all round.
Yes.
The clacky ball bearing thing on strings.
Yes. No, remember that.
Seconds of entertainment.
Yes.
Decided it was the perfect present, but on walking through the kids section to the till, I spotted one of those pin boards that form a 3D impression of your face when you press it against it. You know what I'm thinking?
Yes. Yeah.
So I picked it up and I dumped the Newton's cradle. Thought that's perfect for my brother-in-law. One more pub visit just to thank the chap, who put us onto the toy shop, and then a taxi ride home to start wrapping presents. I should say, I've edited this quite a lot.
Oh, really?
Taken out some of the...
Okay.
Prior to wrapping up the pin board, we both decided to try it out. On the face with my tongue sticking out, various finger gestures, the stuff that we've all done with one of these boards. It was only when Mrs. Tugboat left the room that I decided to be a little more adventurous.
Okay.
And I came up with some impressive results.
Right.
Needless to say, when she returned and found me behind the sofa, on the floor in hysterics, she was a bit confused until she saw the results of my endeavour on the 3D toy.
Yeah.
The hilarity continued with a game of Guess What This Is?
Oh, dear.
And it must be said that Mrs. Tugboat's efforts in 3D sculpture were up there with mine, I have to say.
Yes.
Credit where credit is due. Simon, that night the pin board... No, I'm not going to read that line. And bearing that in mind, one of the first impressions someone makes is usually of the face. I feel that forgiveness must be sought, but not from my brother-in-law, as he later divorced my sister, but from my unsuspecting sister, whom I'm sure had as much fun with it as we did, but maybe not quite as adventurous.
Yes.
Well, I think there's a certain ghastliness about the whole thing, and I'm not quite sure what Tugboat Bill is on about. Well, I do because I edited
Yes, you did.
Yes, you do.
the bits that needed editing. So,
You do.
Sister Susie from the Saloon Bar of the Noisy Pub.
Well, Tugboat Bill, I definitely thought it was going to go in a slightly different direction there, and I'm glad it didn't. And maybe that wasn't down to you.
Well,
Maybe
it might
that was
have done. It might have done.
Maybe it did. However, it's always the brother-in-law, I think, that is the difficult one to buy a present for. So I do feel for you there, and I have to say, I like that you gave all the pubs your support during the Christmas
Good
period.
point.
And, I feel like that is a good thing to do. So maybe, I don't agree with what you did to the present itself. I do agree that you supported the pubs in a time where we need it. So thank you very much for that. And I'm going to forgive you.
You see, I think that really you need to be very careful when giving people presents that you haven't actually tried them out first. That's what I would think. But anyway, brother from another gutter.
Yes, I mean, I'm going to forgive mainly because at least the brother didn't end up with a Newton's cradle, which would have been probably the worst present ever.
Click.
Really,
Click.
yeah, not a lot going on there. So I'm sure he's very happy. But my only hope is that hopefully he will have, cleaned the 3D board before trying it out himself, but I'm sure he would. I know I would have done. I know that's
Would
what
you?
I would have. Yeah,
Would
absolutely. What depends who was giving it to me, to be honest. But I think we all know what I'm saying there. So for that reason, I'm going to forgive.
Okay, so the